You know, you mentioned Patty and what she's doing, and it's one thing to separate from the service, as you said, or also to deal with a lot of those day-to-day kinds of things, but it's another thing, too, when you have a family member who was wounded, as your husband was. Tell us about that moment when Sergeant Kevin Walker, your husband, when you saw him for the first time, and you didn't think he was going to make it, right?
Well, actually, they prepared me and his parents to fly to Longstool because the prognosis was very grim. And so they flew us to Walter Reed so that they could expedite our passport. We waited at Walter Reed for 5 days, and they finally stabilized him enough because he had had brain surgery. The shrapnel went through his brain, and they stabilized him enough to get him to Walter Reed. When I walked into his room, the only way that I recognized my husband was from the tattoos on his arms, because he was so incredibly swollen. And they took me into a small room with his parents, and they said, "Mrs. Walker, we need to prepare you to find a VA nursing home because the prognosis is vegetative state at best." So I looked at the neurosurgeons and I said, "First of all, you're not God. And are we done with this conversation?" And they said, "Yes, ma'am." And I immediately left the room because they were not going to tell me what's what for my husband. There was only God who could make that decision, and I was going to wait to find out. So,
And you did actually take him, and you got him now to a place that it's unbelievable, I'm sure, to you. He's actually here with us, too, today, isn't he, in the audience?
he is. He's right there.
Sergeant Walker. And it was I think we owe him a little bit more than that for being here, too. Thank you all so very much.